So my name is Warrant Officer Class 2 Albert Finnsson. I'm currently the Company Sergeant Major for Support Company, the 6th Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, based in Brisbane, Queensland. Well, I guess first and foremost, my role here on this activity is to be a liaison officer between Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, Marine Expeditionary Force Darwin. So it's the opportunity for me to be able to communicate their commander's intent to our commander's intent and be able to do the same thing back from the Australians to the Marines, so that we can have a bilateral relationship as we progress through this training activity. On top of that, being a senior range instructor, my role is to assist the gunner and his ability to create realistic live fire training within our Australian restraints, which is not a difficult task, but a technical task. In a sense, it's like combining your first sergeant, your gunnery sergeant, and your gunner into one role to ensure that we can conduct realistic live fire training, but more importantly, bilateral training between our two nations. To be honest, and I can't express this more potently, it has been a fantastic opportunity for me throughout my 20-year career. I've had the opportunity to work with the Marines in the past in operations, and this is a wonderful opportunity for me to really understand how the Marine Corps works. How closely aligned we are with our SOPs and our TTPs, and more importantly, our mission goals. There are some fantastic individuals here, and the United States being such a large country and seeing all of those personalities from those 50 states come together and seeing how they work together, focused towards the same goal, really is a career highlight for me while I'm here. I guess the first thing we exchange, more than tactics or anything like that, is our language. I mean, it's easy to think that we all speak the English language, but when it comes to slang, as we call it, when it comes to those sly remarks, those way that we show enduring comments, that's probably the first thing that we share when we examine each other on. Whether it be how we describe the same type of food, or how we describe a good person versus a bad person, that's really the first place that we start, so we can really understand how we work together and just how humorous our different mannerisms and our different use of language can be. Beyond that, it's across knowledge of the terrain and how we would use the terrain and how they foresee the terrain. It's being able to explain that there are different situations we're all faced with, but the biggest challenge that we all face together is the countries we need to go to employ in. So it's describing the Australian outback, it's describing the Australian terrain, the features that it holds, and how they can traverse that effectively. Finally, it's that live fire piece. It's being able to communicate their ranges and our ranges and bringing them together, so again that we can have effective training together. So there has been a lot of cross-pollination of information, and today the final part is looking at our individual SOPs and TTPs at a squad or section level. So in the future, we understand how we all operate, and therefore, not just today, not just this activity, but future deployments, we can also work together. I think the first way to look at it is just how closely we now actually communicate and work together. I have a really good and strong understanding of the headquarters now, and more importantly, where I'm transitioning away from the headquarters, actually understanding the Marines themselves and knowing their background. When we talk about a bilateral relationship, what we're seeing now is greater understanding in terms of how we plan versus how you plan. And I think that's a really important aspect, so that we can put in a combined headquarters, whether it be here in this activity or future deployments as we progress through the threat environment we deal with today.